Thanks. Right away, let's get Labor Director David Dell'Isola on the show, as there have been a lot of developments over the last few days with the unemployment assistance. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Chris and Sabrina.
I just wanted to ask you, before we get started on business, how was your Easter?
Actually, I was able to spend nice time with my family. Thank you.
Good. Good for you. Good for you. Lots of food or what?
Yeah, not bad. I cooked lots of. Yeah, I did cook a lot of food. So it was a nice day, break for them at all.
What do you cook, Dave? I'm curious.
I had cream of crab, and then I just made some scallop potatoes with fried pork chops buried in it and baked.
Well,
nothing too complicated, but just
nothing too complicated. Just 3 dishes in one.
Cream crab?
Right. Okay, Dave. So can you just walk us back to all the new information about unemployment assistance on Guam?
Yes. Well, something that I've been keeping you guys informed with since the very beginning when we signed the agreement, that great news came on Saturday that the feds finally said that the attorneys finally made a legal opinion. We've been bombarding them every day that the territories and Guam will be eligible for the $600 federal pandemic unemployment compensation to be included with the pandemic unemployment assistance money. So we're looking at between $945 to $50 a week, and that'll go for 16 or 13 weeks up till the end of July. And then the 600 will drop off, and then it'll go down to the PUA amount, which is around, like I said, around 340 to 350. We're trying to hopefully get that confirmation amount tomorrow. I have a conference call with DC and the region in San Francisco, and I'm hoping, that's what I was told by some of my people, that's when they're going to let us know what's called the WBA, weekly benefit allowance, will be.
Okay, so just take us back. So this starts with the federal pandemic unemployment compensation, which is $600 for 13 weeks, and then the public assistance pandemic unemployment assistance kicks in after that for 32 weeks.
Yeah, well, just to kind of step back.
Okay.
It
was a little confusing.
A lot of numbers and a lot of things. So the PUA, which is the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, which is $300, let's just say, and $50, can begin between January 27th and can end on December 31st. It's a 39-week program. So whatever the date that you were affected, laid off, or furloughed, you will get that amount for 39 weeks.
Okay.
As a supplement, starting, I believe, March 28th, for 13 weeks, or till July 31st, you'll get an extra 600 in there to be added. And all that will be retroed. And that'll continue on. And that was what we got the legal opinion on. When we first signed the agreement back last 2 Sundays ago, I sent a note out to the senior labor advisor, thanking them, of course, on behalf of myself and the governor, and just wanting to confirm the dollar amount. And that was when she wrote to me that, and I'll quote, "Our current reading of the legislation is that Guam is only eligible for the pandemic unemployment assistance and not the federal pandemic unemployment assistance." So we were eligible for the PUA, but not the FPOC. But attorneys are reviewing. And that was when I met with the governor, and then she started her very aggressive letter campaign to the Secretary of Labor, to the White House, and to Congress, all asking them that, if you read the PUA, it says the FPOC is included, but the FPUC definition doesn't include Guam in its definition.
Right.
And that's about as easy I can explain it.
Yeah.
So we were fighting it every day, and that was why I advised the governor not to say anything about what our dollar amount is, because, from my feds, they're saying it looked doubtful. But after the constant battle of her hitting the top down and me going from the bottom up, I think we were able to shift the mood. I mean, I was throwing everything at those poor guys, everything that I could use as leverage, from the Theodore Roosevelt to the
everything.
I said, we're Americans, all the states get it, and here, when America needs us, we step in, and you guys going to just take that away from us when you can see the clear intent is that it is included. And I even said, all the media and all the stuff that are coming out, our media reads it and they're taking it and saying, yeah, the 600 is there, it's written, and they're advertising out that it's 960.
Yeah,
960.
Dave, I just want to go back because I remember, I think it was a couple weeks ago, Congressman St. Nicholas had put on his Facebook page that this is what we were getting. And you talk about irresponsible. I mean, we got to make sure we got all the info, because when you go and you say something like that, it gives people unnecessary expectations that they don't need. People are starting, when he announced that, people started looking at that and calculating their bills and how much they would need, and it just was, I don't know. I think you got to get the facts straight.
And I used that also as part of the argument. I said, look, I have both congressmen coming out and saying this is the dollar amount. You guys cannot take that away. That would be, you're going to get some, a lot of negative media nationwide that you just took this away. So I just hit them and hit them and hit them. And then finally Saturday, I got a letter that says, I sent a note to all territories that we reviewed a legal opinion that the FPUC program is applicable to the territories. I am glad this worked out for the territories. That's a direct quote that came in Saturday. So Saturday was finally the day that we can announce it, and I told the governor, and she announced it immediately that time. And so, I want to thank the governors for her super aggressive. She wrote the White House. She wrote the Secretary of Labor. I mean, she was hitting it hard, and I used every tool in that arsenal to fight. And I'm so happy that, that's an extra $7,800 to each claimant when they apply.
Wow.
And that
it was a good catch on the governor's part.
Yeah, and and like I said, everybody just stayed, with the eye on the target. So now that that's out of the way, there is a lot of work.
Yeah, so where are we? The application process is now what you got to get out, right?
Yes. Oh, you've been paying attention. Thanks, Chris.
I got nothing else to do.
So
I'm staying home, Dave.
Yeah, no. So hopefully tomorrow we'll get that final number of what the WBA is, the weekly benefit amount, and if it's like $350, then I can submit a budget. It's called an SBR, a supplemental budget request, telling Department of Labor how much we're going to need to pay everybody and how much we're going to need to run this program. This is a complicated program, and this is nothing that I've done before. As I mentioned previously, back when Chataan and Pongsonghua, a similar program, but it was only 4,000 people. This is 38,000 with the shelter in place. I'm still working out how I am going to be able to do this and keep everybody safe. So I'll just keep you guys involved each step of the way, but I'm already planning it out. We are moving so aggressively. The governor was allowed to put up local funds just to back the procurement process, and by the time the procurement is ready to hopefully to buy the softwares, do all the materials that we need to put this program together, the federal funds will come in and we'll just pay it off with the federal funds. So I'm buying I have to get a software package that can run the PUA. Most states will use their UI program and just take a similar module off of that that's already in place. We have to reestablish a totally new program. So this will hopefully kick in by the end of the month. We're looking at this week to do a very aggressive campaign on all the employers to register on Hire Guam. That'll be the first step, and then hopefully the software for the employer's module will be loaded by then, and then they can submit all their changes of employment to that company, of their employees. So they can submit each employee's name and their socials and all their pertinent information. So that way, when they apply for the PUA program, I have something that I can reference back to collaborate when they were laid off or furloughed.
Right.
So that's that. I already submitted a draft application.
Okay, so I just got a comment. Where can we access the application? Answer that question. Irene is we're still working on it.
Yes, we sent them a draft. We just basically, since we're waiting, and we got some guidance, we got some idea. We just took our old DUA application and we just kind of modified it, and we sent it to them and said, please, review it, come up with something that they think will be approved. So that way I can, whatever the application will look like, I get it back. And then, like I think I mentioned to you before, I plan on printing the hell out of it and just send it out to everybody so they can at least see the application.
Right.
And you still want everybody to get their documents ready. So once this software, everything's online, they can submit their applications with the documents that they need.
Yes, and I think there was a little bit of confusion. And, we're making these documents up. I mean, I can't print out something until I know exactly what's in the application, so I can tell you exactly what's needed. So I'm trying to be a little aggressive with and getting the information out, but I have my team of people trying to create information. But I let out a laundry list, passports and driver's license, or IDs, all kinds of Social Security cards, and of course that just created 50 million questions. That, do I need all of them? Do I need this? Do I need that? No, I gave you a laundry list, and basically the couple things that people need to do. They need to be able to have some source of ID that identifies who they are, and it could be a passport, it could be a driver's license, it could be a Guam ID card. It has to be something that identifies that this person is the claimant, and then they need to show that they're a resident somehow. And if the Guam Real ID driver's license, or then it shows that they are a resident.
I think you went over this last week, but I think it's important if we just go over it one more time. Someone is asking, what if I'm not able to get a verification of employment if company is closed?
Yes, that's probably, I got about a couple thousand questions similar to like that. I'm running up some of these questions up the chain to the region, because I need to make sure, I have an answer that we could do, but I need to make sure that that answer will fly with U.S. DOL, so that if we get audited, they will say that's acceptable. Because if it isn't acceptable, then Guam will get dinged and Guam will have to pay for it. So I've went as far as to say, can we just do self-certifications and then get the proof later?
Right, like an affidavit or something, right?
Yeah. They said that's a good question. Remember, we never really had this problem when it was just the typhoons, because after the typhoon, everybody just started rebuilding and getting back to work. And, now that it's everything is shut down and you're shelter in place, you can't just reach out. So what I will say now, and it's not official, is get creative. If you have a boss, you have a supervisor, you can use the phone, you can call them up and just say, hey, boss, can you just give me a note that I was furloughed at this date and the company's name, and just sign it, take a picture of it, send it to me on my phone, or just sign it, put it in the mail, because you got plenty of time, and have it mailed to me. And, I will do whatever I can to be to be judiciously laxed with what I can take, as long as I can go back and prove it. As long as I can go take that letter and then call your supervisor and verify down the road that, that Chris Barnett was laid off at this date, at this time.
Don't jinx me.
Then, it's simple like that. I need to have something that the auditors, if they come, or myself, that I can call and I can verify. Those people that are farmers, those people that are Surahanus, those people that are subsistence living, craftsmen, bead makers, those that run the little at the tourist spots that give out cold coconuts or cowboy rides or all this stuff that don't necessarily file for taxes, they can self-certify and say that I am a single person, that I give cowboy rides at the corner, and I don't pay taxes. I just make enough to pay for my food and this and that. And then if they could get some kind of backup, whether from the mayor, or from somebody, mayor, oh yeah, I know Tun Cruz, he does the cowboy rides for the last 20 years, just something like that helps covers them and covers me, so that I have some kind of proof that you actually were doing something and earning some kind of income, and then it was taken away because of the COVID.
Right. Dave, let me ask you this. I think I already know the answer, but just to get it out, a question: what about those who applied in March, but were told in April all hiring is frozen due to the virus?
Okay. If you applied for a job, and that's a good question, and you were accepted, and you were told that you were to work on March 20th, and then March 18th came, and the employer says, I'm sorry, this COVID has affected our business, I can't hire you. If you can get that in a letter from that employer, then you can qualify.
Right. Mm-hmm. But if you didn't get that letter and you just applied, and then they told you hiring is frozen, but you never were, they never said, hey, we're hiring you, or we're going to process you in, then there are other types of assistance, I think, like the stimulus and other.
If you had to be working or had a job lined up or making some kind of income and it stopped, this is unemployment assistance, not assistance only. So you had to have some form of work either coming or already there, and then then the COVID affected your ability to either get that job or to keep working. So, and like I said, and those people who are self-employed, to have the small business, just something, a letter that what you were doing. If you have a business license, then you can attach that to it. They just need to have backup to say what you're saying. And even at worse, if you have a Surahano and you have a real customer, and that may be stretching it, at least try it. Get from that customer or two that, oh yeah, Tun Marie was my Surahano for the last 10 years, taking care of my back or something. At least try to get those things, and I'm waiting from Region on whether those kind of questions will be acceptable.
Same for people who are selling at the flea market. That's a comment on our Facebook.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you were doing those are
what if you don't have a business license, though, Dave?
Then if I will just say this: if you were just had an income and that you can prove it.
Okay.
There's so many millions of people,
right.
So many. But if you had an income, and before this whole thing happened, and you don't have one now, you need to get creative and show me some way of proving it that not only satisfies me, but like I told you, the Inspector General got $26 million to stand up an auditing program for this. Exactly. So they'll be coming out and they'll be auditing us. And I just want to make sure that I run as best as possible,
yeah.
a clean program.
Dave, Jason has a question here.
Yeah, hey Dave, Jason here. Thanks again for what you've tirelessly done, like you and your staff. I mean, we can't thank you enough for that. But that is part of the point, because we have had more than a few comments right now, and I don't know if you're paying attention to the comment stream on Facebook, but we've had so many people, even going back to last week when you first came on the show, and they are saying, is there somewhere I could go if I would like to volunteer and answer phones and be of service and just help out with the cause, because I understand that the load on the 311 phone number that's being given out is substantial. So are people able to do that? Because we understand there would be a certain amount of training involved, and we're all supposed to be socially distancing and everything. But is that even an option for people that would like to volunteer and to do that?
Normally, I wouldn't have a problem, but with the shelter in place, there's no real way of training and getting them spun up that is safe and effective, other than trying to do it over the phone, and that would be very difficult. So at this time, I don't have a method for accepting that. Later on, maybe that opportunity will come up, and I have no problems, if that's the case. I will be working with the governor to take a lot of the GovCon workers that are staying at home and that have the abilities to assist in this, whether it be application inputting or whatever way is possible. So I plan on using that resource, and we'll see how that works out. So this is going to be a huge mobilization. Getting 38,000 people accept their application, getting it inputted, and then just figuring out how we're going to get a checks out every week. Yeah. That is, I can't tell you how huge of an operation this is going to be.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a massive amount of help in the government and people stepping up, government workers who are getting paid right now, and being assigned projects and helping out as we try to help our island. There's no way that the Department of Labor can do this by ourselves. There's no way.
Well, Dave, I'm praying. I prayed all weekend, for the Lord to provide you the guidance and to give you the energy, and for all the people who need to stand this up and hit the streets and make it work. You know what? I know we can do it, Dave.
We can, and it'll just take. And you guys just keep getting the information out. I will start pumping out some better tools for people to understand how to apply, what do I do, what do I, FAQs. I'm having my people start this week, trying that up. I even have Region. They said that was a great question because all their stuff is all UI and PUA mixed in together, so they're trying to separate it so that we can get something. So be patient. I know a lot of people have questions. They'll start to be answered, and we'll just start chipping away and get this program up as quickly as I can so that we can get the money to the people.
All right. Thanks,
Thank you,
Dave. Once you get that FAQ, send it over, and we'll get some PSAs created so we can let everybody know where they need to go and what they need to do. Thank you.
Bless you.
God bless you, Dave.
Thank you, Chris.
Wash your hands, man. Hey, and after all this is over, Sabrina wants to try your crab.
I'd love to be able to face her again. It's been a long time.
I know.
Yeah. So after COVID, okay?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So yeah, Dave Dell'Isola there. There were a lot of questions on the comment feed. Basically, you guys are asking about applications. They're working on the application. There's no way to fill out an application right now.
But you do need to start getting your paperwork ready, documents that you're going to need. You need, of course, a valid photo ID because they need to know, who you are, that you're a resident of Guam. If you got a copy of your passport, get that ready. Copies of your latest paycheck stubs, social security number, and a certification letter from